Today, we're diving into how an economy grows and why it crashes. It's a really powerful story by Peter and Andrew Schiff, and it's based on a simple allegory their father, Irwin, came up with. People often just call it the fish story, and for good reason. It's designed to cut right through all the complicated jargon and show you the bare-bones truth of how wealth is really created. And yeah, how it can all come crashing down. So let me ask you this. What if the real key to building a better future, a more prosperous world, wasn't about getting more stuff right now? What if it was about sacrifice? I mean, what if it was about going hungry today so you could have a feast tomorrow? You see, this isn't just a story about fishing. It's a story about the choices we all make every single day that literally build our future. And here's the thing the book points out. It feels like modern economics has been made super complicated on purpose, like a magic trick to hide something really, really simple. Well, this story is all about stripping away that complexity. It's going to show us the engine of prosperity in its purest, most basic form. All right, so let's set the scene. Imagine a really primitive island. On this island live just three guys, Abel, Baker, and Charlie. And let me tell you, their life is tough. It is brutally simple. Their entire existence, their whole economy, is just one thing: catching fish with their bare hands. That's their entire reality. Every single day, each guy can catch exactly one fish. That's just enough to eat so they don't starve. Think about that. In this world, there are no savings. There's no credit. No one is investing in anything. Whatever they produce, they eat immediately. There is zero room for error, and honestly, not much hope for a better life. But then, one day, Abel gets an idea, a game-changing idea. He imagines this device, a net, that could help him catch way more fish. But to build it, he has to make a choice, a really heroic one. First, he has to underconsume. That's a fancy way of saying he has to go hungry for a whole day. Second, he has to take a huge risk. I mean, what if the net doesn't even work? But he does it. And through that sacrifice, he creates the very first piece of capital on the entire island. And this right here is a perfect explanation of what capital actually is. It's not money. It's a tool. It's anything you create to make your work more productive. Abel doesn't want the net for the sake of having a net. No, he wants the fish. The net is just the tool that magnifies his own effort so he can get what he really wants, but way more efficiently. And the result? It's immediate, and it is absolutely revolutionary. With his new net, Abel can now catch 2 fish every single day. Just like that, his productivity has literally doubled. One single act of sacrifice completely shattered the limits of their world. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Abel's breakthrough doesn't just help him. Because he can catch 2 fish a day but only needs one to survive, the island now has a surplus. For the very first time, there's a saving. And that one saved fish is about to kickstart a complete economic revolution for everyone. I mean, just look at the difference. It's like night and day. Before the net, life was just a grind for survival. After the net, there's surplus, there's savings, and maybe most important of all, there's free time. Time to build a better hut, or make better clothes, or even, create art. The door to a better life has been thrown wide open. Of course, Baker and Charlie see how well Abel is doing, and they want in on the action. But they don't really want to go hungry for a day like Abel did, so they come to him with a deal. They ask to borrow his extra saved fish. And in return for Abel taking a risk on them, they promise to pay him back with interest. And right there, just like that, the concept of credit is born. And this new system of savings and lending, it just creates this amazing upward spiral. Pretty soon, everyone has a net. Then they start pooling their savings to build even bigger, better tools, like a massive mega fish catcher. Productivity goes through the roof, which frees up more and more people to do other things, creating new jobs, new skills, a truly diverse and wealthy economy. If you're finding this story inspiring, maybe take a quick moment to share it with someone who could use a reminder of how small sacrifices can build a much bigger future. So, for generations, things are going great. The island is thriving, but as it gets bigger, the islanders decide they need some kind of government. They form a republic called Usonia, and with government comes a new kind of person, the politician. And one charismatic senator, a guy named Frankie Deep, he rises to the top with a very seductive and very dangerous new idea. Frankie's plan is, it's pretty clever politics. He realizes that people love getting free stuff and they hate paying taxes, so he promises them everything without raising their taxes. But wait a second, how is that even possible? How can the government give away more fish than it collects?
The answer is a pretty slick invention: paper money. The government starts printing these things called fish reserve notes. They're basically just IOUs, a piece of paper that says it's good for one real fish from the government's vault. At first, it's super convenient, but it gives the government a scary new power. They can now print more claims to fish than there are actual fish in the vault.
Well, you can probably guess what happens next. The politicians print way too many notes, and eventually, the vault is empty. But when the crisis hits, do they stop spending? Of course not. Instead, they come up with an even bigger lie to hide what they've done. That lie is called inflation. This is wild. They start making smaller official fish by literally chopping up the real ones and gluing the pieces together to make more of them. This chart shows you exactly what happens over time. The government calls this fishflation. Basically, the money itself, the fish, is worth less and less. They're stealing everyone's savings not by taking their fish, but by making the fish smaller. And to sell this whole scam, the government starts bragging about how prosperous everyone is. They shout from the rooftops, "Look, everyone is eating twice as many fish as their parents did." And technically, just looking at the numbers, it's true. People have more fish than ever. But here's the devastating truth. The fish are half the size. In reality, people are no better off. Their savings, their purchasing power, has been completely wiped out. It's an illusion of wealth that's hiding a massive economy-wide theft. Okay, so eventually this whole thing is about to fall apart. There's nothing but bones left in the vault. The economy is teetering on the edge of total collapse. And just when it seems like all hope is lost, a canoe shows up from a faraway island called Sinopia, and they're offering what looks like a miracle. See, the Sinopians are still fishing by hand. They're way behind Usonia, and they're desperate to build up their own economy. They think Usonia's fish reserve notes are the secret to getting rich, so they make this incredible offer. They'll give Usonia their real, full-sized, hard-earned fish in exchange for Usonia's paper notes, which cost nothing to print. This deal creates a really dangerous imbalance. Let's just break it down. The Usonians can now consume way more than they actually produce, all by printing paper promises. And the Sinopians? Well, they're working their tails off producing way more than they consume, and all they're getting in return are those same paper promises. So, this foreign lifeline keeps the party going in Usonia, but it comes at a terrible long-term price. With real fish just flowing in from this other island, the Usonians stop doing the hard work themselves. Their economy just transforms. Fishing, making nets, all the real production gets outsourced. The island becomes a nation of consumers, of service providers, all living off the hard work of someone else. And that is where the story leaves us. It's a total cliffhanger. Usonia's prosperity is just a mirage, built on a mountain of debt and completely dependent on another country being willing to trade them real stuff for their paper. It forces you to ask, what happens when the fish stop coming? What happens when the lifeline gets cut? In the end, this whole simple story about fish brings us face to face with a really deep question. The government on the island tried to get rid of all the risk. They promised everyone prosperity without any sacrifice. They tried to save everyone from failure. But in doing so, they destroyed the very things that made the island wealthy in the first place. It really makes you wonder, if we want the freedom to truly succeed, to achieve amazing things, do we also have to accept the freedom to fail? Thanks for watching this anime economy video. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to delve deeper into the subject of this book, the link to purchase it is below in the video description. See you in the next video.